Rashta Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. Nitil Pavishtam Vishnupar Rashta Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitil Pavishtam Vishnupar Rashta Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitil Pavishtam Vishnupar Rashta Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitil Pavishtam Vishnupar Rashta Shishimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitil Pavishta Maha Bhagavat Srila Gaurkishora Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitil Pavishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Nitil Pavishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupana Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jeev Gopal Patadash Raghunath Shara Gosai Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Rup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shada Vrind Ki Jai. Namachay Shlahi Ras Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrind Ki Jai. Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Sarva Vishta Bhakti Giriraj Ki Jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kund Ki Jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya Ki Jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Rakaya Priyatmane Shrimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Nami. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namne. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo. Yang Pravrajantam Anupetam Apeta Krityam Vaipayano Virahakatara Ajuhava Putreti Tanmayataya Tarvo Bhinedus Tang Sarvabhuta Hridayam Munimanatosmi Narayanam Namaskritya Narang Chaiva Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Vajayam Mudirat Shrindvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridantasto Vidhunoti Surit Satam Nashta Prayeshvavadreshu Nityang Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatam Ashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Tavaivasmi Tasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tvam Nayamang Charanantikam Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshai Shiptashtakamaditaranga Madhe Kripa Mam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Pranityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Let's see who's all there. Hare Krishna, Savitri Didi, Madhavi Didi, Ganga Didi, Gargraji, Yashoda Didi. Is that Bhavatarani Mataji and Hari Prabhu? Bhakti Hawaii. Dandavat pranams to you all. To you both, I mean. Shash Sharmaji, Hare Raseshwaraji, Rup Manjari Didi, Prajumna Prabhu, Kishore Prabhu. Wow, so many people all on time. Haribol. All right, so let's begin. So as you know, when I'm reading these purports, this commentary, Sārārtha-darśinī commentary by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, I am not reading the Sanskrit since we already went through the Sanskrit. I only read Sanskrit on the most prominent verses. Oops, I'm in the wrong thing. I'm in Bhagavad Pravaha. Where is it? There. There. Okay. Okay. So this is chapter 3. We're going to read the first half. Oh, and by the way, I don't have the powers out. And my battery might last very long anymore. So I don't know when it's going to shut off. Right now it's at 6%. Let's see how long it will take until it shuts off. Yeah, so if I just cut off and don't come back, that's the reason my computer battery died. And if the connection's choppy, it's because of my phone connection. Okay, so thereafter, at the auspicious time for the appearance of the Lord. One second. Okay. One second, let me just, I need to open up this so that I know which verses to. Oh, okay. Thereafter, at the auspicious time for the appearance of the Lord, the entire universe was surcharged with all the qualities of goodness, beauty, and peace. The constellation Rohini appeared, as did stars like Ashvini. The sun, the moon, and the other stars and planets were very peaceful. All directions appeared extremely pleasing. Beautiful stars twinkled in the cloudless sky. Decorated with towns, villages, mines, and pasturing grounds, the earth seemed all auspicious. The rivers flowed with clear water, and the lakes and vast reservoirs, full of lilies and lotuses, were ordinarily beautiful. And the trees and green plants, full of flowers and leaves, pleasing to the eyes, birds like cuckoos and swarms of bees began chanting with sweet voices for the sake of the demigods. A pure breeze began to blow, the sense of touch, and bearing the aroma of flowers. And when the Brahmins engaged in ritualistic ceremonies, ignited fires according to Vedic principles, the fires burned steadily, undisturbed by the breeze. Thus, when the birthless Lord Vishnu, the supreme personality of Godhead, was about to appear, the saints and Brahmins who had always been disturbed by demons like Kamsa and his men felt peace within their hearts, and kettle simultaneously vibrated from the upper planetary system. Just checking everything's running okay. Looks like it so far. Commentary, Sārārtha-darśinī commentary by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. In this chapter, there is a description of the time and place becoming jubilant for Krishna's appearance, a description of the Lord's advent, and the prayers of Vasudeva and Devaki. Verse 1. When Yarhi, when the birthless constellation, I don't know why I said that. When the birth constellation, I'm not going to read the Sanskrit, you can just read the Sanskrit words like that. Okay? So when the birth constellation of the Lord who has no birth arrived, time itself became endowed with all good qualities. Ajana Janma. These two words can also be taken as the name Nakshatra, the constellation. Ajana means Vishnu. Ajana Janma means he who is born from Vishnu, that is Prajapati. Prajapati's nakshatra is Rohini. The name of the nakshatra is not mentioned directly because the scriptures enjoin that the birth nakshatra should not be named directly. At this time, also the other nakshatras, such as Ashwini, the planets, the sun, and the stars, all assumed a peaceful state. Verse 2. This verse describes how the Disha assumed all good qualities. In this verse, the qualities of the autumn season are described even though it was rainy season, because all the elements such as the earth, water, fire, and ether were jubilant. The joy above is indicated by the phrase, the stars shone brilliantly in the sky. The joy on earth next in the description of the towns, cities, and mines. Verse 3. The joy between earth and sky is expressed in two verses, beginning with description of the water, Prasanna Salila. The lotus usually blooms during the day and closes at night. But now the lotus bloomed in the night, Jala Ruha Shriya. Night assumes the qualities of the day. The forest resounded with the cries of cuckoos and hummingbees, Dvijali Kula Sannad, and was resplendent with leaves and flowers. Verse 4. The monsoon season, spring's qualities are described next. The wind, Vavo Vayu, which had the coolness of spring's breezes, was dust-free and laden with the fragrance of spring. It was laden with the fragrance of spring flowers, Punya Gandha. Though the fires had almost all been extinguished, they now blazed, turning to the right. Verse 5. Though it was Dwapara Yuga, the quality of Treta Yuga now Manangsi, minds, indicates that the mind, intelligence, senses, sense objects, and 5 gross elements all became joyful. Though previously afflicted by harassment of the demons, the devotee's mind, intellects, senses, and bodies now became joyful. The devotees rejoiced over the upcoming appearance of Vishnu, the unborn. Text. The Kinnaras and Gandharvas began singing auspicious songs. The Siddhas and Charanas offered auspicious prayers, and the Vidyadharis, Alasaras, began to dance in jubilation. Verse 7 and 8. Demigod and great saintly persons showered flowers in a joyous mood, and clouds gathered in the sky and very mildly thundered, making sounds like those of the ocean's waves. Then the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, who is situated in the core of everyone's heart, appeared from the heart of Devaki in the dense darkness of night, like the full moon rising on the eastern horizon, because Devaki was of the same category as Sri Krishna. Anusagaram, following the ocean. This means the clouds imitate the roaring of the ocean. But previously it was stated that all directions were overjoyed, and the sky was cloud-free and filled with stars. How could there be rumbling of clouds? Tama Urbhute. Did I answer the question? Densely dark. Therefore, it is that deep in the night, everything be covered in darkness. There was thunder at that time because thick clouds covered the sky after 6 nights. Okay. Janardane. The Lord is dressed as Janardhan because he is being requested, Ardhan, by the devotees, by the munis, and demigods, Jana. O Lord, now is the time of your birth. Oh, that's a much nicer meaning of Janardhan. I always thought of Janardhan as being like punisher of the people. I'm just curious. 1 second. I shouldn't be wasting time now. Okay, I won't do this. What's my battery? 53%. Ardhan. Ardhan means annihilating, destroying, pain, trouble, excitement, oppression. Okay. Moving restlessly. Disturbing, tormenting. No, but this is a much nicer meaning of Ardhan, is request. So then the time came for Krishna's birth from the womb of Devaki, whose eternal body was full of knowledge, Devarupinyam, like Lord Vishnu, who sleeps in the heart of all souls, Sarva Guhaya, and who eternally resides in Mathura and Vaikuntha, invisible to the common man, like an inaccessible cave in a mountain. Krishna's birth was not painful like a normal child. Indu Eva, full. Krishna appeared like the full moon rising in the eastern sky. The subject of the simile, the moon, began to act out the role at that time. So that means it was no longer a simile; it was actual fact. Though it was the eighth day of the waning at the time, the moon thought in bliss. The Lord is ornamenting our dynasty with his birth in this world. Then it became round like the full moon, Pushkala, complete in every respect. In this way also Vishnu appeared in his full form as Swayam Bhagavan Shri Krishna, although with all his... So not only the moon appeared in its full form, but Vishnu also as Swayam Bhagavan Shri Krishna. According to Harivangsha, the birth took place in the 8th month of pregnancy, before the expected time, in order to bewilder Kamsa. In the Ka-Manikya, an astrological work, Krishna's birth is described. The moon, Mars, Mercury, and Saturn were exalted, and Taurus was ascendant. Jupiter was in Pisces, Sun was in Leo, Venus in Libra, and Rahu in Scorpio. At midnight on Wednesday, with the moon in the Rohini Nakshatra, Lord Shri Krishna appeared. Verses 9 and 10. Vasudeva then saw the newborn child, who had very wonderful lotus-like eyes, and who bore in his 4 hands the 4 weapons, Shankha, Chakra, Gada. On his chest was the mark of Vatsa, and on his neck the brilliant Kaustuba gem. Dressed in yellow, his body blackish like a dense cloud, his scattered hair fully grown, and his helmet and earrings sparkling uncommonly with the valuable gem Vaidurya. The child, decorated with a brilliant belt, armlets, bangles, and other ornaments, appeared very wonderful. Commentary. Verse 9 and 10 describe the astonishing child that Vasudeva saw, listing the features of astonishment. Baby Krishna appeared with lotus eyes, 4 arms holding conch club. Vaidurya refers to a jewel which shines yellow and red. Oh, cool, the primary colors. The Lord wore a triangular-shaped crown studded with Vaidurya gems. Verse 11. When Vasudeva saw his extraordinary son, his eyes were struck with wonder. In transcendental jubilation, he mentally collected 10,000 cows and distributed them among the Brahmins, the transcendental festival. Commentary. What was today's wonder? First wonder was, with my material eyes, I am seeing that form, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is read by liberated soul. Besides being bound by ignorance as a soul, I am also bound externally in the prison of Kamsa. 2. Although he came transcendence, the Lord has appeared from the womb of Devaki. 3. When the child came out of the womb, all his limbs were nicely ornamented with weapon, belt, earrings, and crown. 4. The Supreme Lord, whom fear itself fears, has taken me as a father out of fear. The Lord is addressed as Hari, God, and Sutta, son, because simultaneously Vasudeva knew him to be the Lord and his son. On the birth of an ordinary child, then he says, on the birth of an ordinary child, a father will celebrate with charity and meditation. What should I do in this condition when the Lord is born as my son? Thinking like this, respectfully and filled with joy, Muda, Vasudeva submerged in an ocean of bliss, and he gave cows in charity to Brahmins in his mind, asprishat, without. Verse 12. O Maharaj Parikshit, descendant of King Bharat, Vasudeva could understand that the child is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan. Having concluded out, he became fearless. Bowing down with folded hands and concentrating his attention, he began to offer prayers to the child who illuminated his birthplace by his natural influence. Commentary. Fixing his mind on the Lord, Kritadhi, Vasudeva thought of Krishna with reverence as God and affection as his son. Though out of parental love he was afraid his tender child might be harmed by Kamsa's weapons, that fear vanished when he realized that his child was the supreme Gata Bi Prabhavavit. So now we begin Vasudeva's prayers. Haribo Rohit Shnanji. Vasudeva said, My Lord, you are the Supreme Person beyond material existence, and you are the Supersoul, received by transcendental knowledge, by which you can be understood as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now understand your position perfectly. Commentary. Your intention in showing this form is as follows. So now this is Vasudeva speaking Krishna's intention. My father is worried of me because of Kamsa. Therefore, I will make him fearless by showing him that I am God. Accordingly, I have become fearless on understanding you are God. With this understanding, Vasudeva speaks this verse. Now Vasudeva again says, I can understand that the Supreme Person, Karnodak Vishnu, who activates the material nature by his glance. You are the soul of Brahman realization. You are the all-being Supersoul. You are all these things because I am Bhagavan. Verse 14. My Lord, you are the same person who in the beginning this material world by external beauty energy. After the creation of this world of the three gunas, rajas and tamas, you appear to have entered it, although in fact you have not. Commentary. So now Krishna is saying, Oh Father, you know that I have been born with limitation in your house, but do you know the truth about me? To destroy this doubt, Vasudeva expresses his realization. Sa eva. This means, that form of yours about which I previously spoke, that is you. You create this universe by your material energy, seem to enter and not enter it simultaneously. Because you are seen inside the universe, we cannot say you do not enter. Because you are seen outside the universe, you do not enter there. You seem to have entered my house, as you are also. You appear to have been, but we cannot say that either. Because you are always existing. Thus I know that Kamsa cannot do anything to you, all pervading. 15 to 17. The Mahat Tattva, the total material energy, is undivided, but because of the material modes of nature, it appears to separate earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Because of the living energy, the Jiva Bhuta, these separated energies combine to make the cosmic manifestation visible. But in fact, before the cosmos, the total energy is already present. Therefore, total material energy never actually enters the creation. Although you are perceived by our sense because of your presence, you cannot be perceived by the senses, nor experienced by the mind or word. Avan manasa gochara. With our senses, we can perceive some things, not everything. For example, we can use our eyes to see, but not to taste. Consequently, you are beyond perceptions. Although in touch with the modes of material nature, you are unaffected by them. You are the prime factor in everything. Creating undivided supersoul. You are the prime factor in everything. The all-pervading undivided supersoul. For you, therefore, there is no external or internal. You never enter with Devaki. Rather, you existed there already. Commentary. This verse gives an example. You enter into Devaki's womb just like the undifferentiated Mahat Tattva and other elements, Ime. Like the other elements enter the universes, but do not enter it. Or appear to be created, but actually are not. Though you appear to be born, you are not. The Mahatva, possessing within it various distinct elements such as earth, joins with consciousness to create the material universe. Though the elements to have been created appear to have entered into creation, because they remain present outside as well, one cannot say they have entered. Though the elements appear to arise within the universe, they actually existed before the universe. Verse 17. The elements are touched by the three modes of nature, but as supreme cause of everything, you are not touched by the modes of nature, enter into the universe. Though you are perceived as full of qualities, which can be understood by the intelligence, you, being full of bliss, do not accept the qualities of matter, whose essence is suffering. Why? Because you are not modes of material nature. Those of nature take on those qualities. Nature, however, never contaminate you internally or externally. The living entity, however, upon contacting the objects of sound and touch, internally experiences lamentation and illusion. You who pervade everything as the Paramatma, the Sarvatmana, and all the objects related to you in the spiritual world, Atma Vastuna, such as the devotee, your abode and pastimes, they are forever untouched by matter. Verse 18. One who considers his visible body, which is a product of nature, to be independent of the soul, is unaware of the basis of existence, and therefore rascal. Those who are learned have rejected illusion, because one can understand through full discussion that with no basis in soul, the visible body and senses would be insubstantial. Nonetheless, although his claim has been rejected, a foolish person considers it a reality. Commentary. But can the three modes of material nature bestow some sort of happiness? This verse gives the answer. He is foolish and unintelligent, who thinks that the objects seen, such as a woman, a flower, a garland, tasty food, are enjoyable. In reality, these objects give misery, lamentation, and illusion, since they can only be possessed temporarily. They keep one trapped in the cycle of repeated birth and death. Sorry, did I read a flower and a garland as separate things? I meant to say a flower, garland, and tasty food. The Karma Mimamsakas conclude that wealth and possessions are the most valuable things and think themselves intelligent. Their arguments are not without rebuttal. They don't have true wisdom. What the devotee rejects with scorn, they accept with eagerness. 19. O my Lord, learned Vedic scholars conclude that the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the entire cosmic manifestation are performed by you, who are free from endeavor, unaffected by the mode of material nature, and changeless in your spiritual situation. There are no contradictions in you, who are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Para Brahma, because the three modes of material nature, the Rajas and Tamas, are under your control. Everything takes place automatically. Commentary. From your statements that you are the creator through Prakriti, it is understood that Prakriti is your energy and non-different from you. Although you are the cause of the universe, you never contact the material gunas, either internally or externally. How is that possible? This verse answers the question. O Lord, the Shruti says that creation, maintenance, and destruction of the universe arise from you, who are without action, quality, and change. But how can the creator be inactive? Though you are Brahma and Shiva, the creator and destroyer, at the same time you are without action, aniha. Indeed, you are the reservoir of contradictory qualities. How? Because you are the shelter of the material modes of nature, the actions of creation and destruction. Because you are the shelter of the material modes of nature, the actions of creation and destruction are ascribed to you. Though Prakriti is your energy and is your external energy, it is not your swarup or swabhav, your personal form. Thus, you are not in contact with the gunas internally or externally. The conclusion is established here. Our second meaning is, how can my Vasudeva, son of Brahma and Shiva, let me reread that. The conclusion is established here. Our second meaning is, how can my Vasudeva's son be Brahma and Shiva? You are not Brahma or Shiva. You are the shelter of both. You say this yourself in Bhagavad Gita 14:27. Brahmano hi pratishtaham. I'm the basis of the impersonal Brahman. Lord Brahma says in Srimad Bhagavatam 2:642, Adyo vatara purusha parasya. Karanarnavai Vishnu is the first incarnation of the Supreme Lord. He is the master of eternal time and space. Since you are the shelter of Brahma and Shiva, Tad Ashrayatvat, you are indirectly called the creator and destroyer. The qualities of a person being sheltered are often ascribed to the giver of shelter. Just as when the country is fortunate, the king is called fortunate, in this way you are Brahma and Shiva. This is also in accordance with the concept of ras. The form of Krishna is distinct in terms of ras, though he is one with other forms of the Lord, Vishnu Tattva. In the ultimate sense, Brahma, Shiva, and Krishna are but one form, Siddhanta. They are one form. Siddhanta tas tvad abhedepi Shrisha Krishna Swarupayo Rasenot Krishyate Krishna Rupam Esha Rasastitihi. According to transcendental realization, there is no difference between the forms of Narayan and Krishna. Yet, special transcendental attraction due to the conjugal mellow, and consequently, he surpasses Narayan. This is the conclusion of transcendental mellows. That's Bhakti-rasāmṛta Sindhu 1-259. Verse 20. Read again It's okay. Sorry, guys, I'm getting a little sleepy. My Lord, your form is transcendental to the three material modes. Yet, for the maintenance of the three worlds, you assume the white color of Vishnu and goodness. For creation, which is surrounded by the quality of passion, you appear reddish. And at the ends, when there is need for annihilation, or surrounded by ignorance, you appear blackish. Kante. A question arises concerning this. Is it well known that the creation takes place through Brahma? Then how are you also the creator? Brahma and others are your alone. That was the intention of this verse. Shuklam, white. You, by your personal energy, swamayaya, manifest yourself in the form of Vishnu. Here, Shuklam cannot mean white, because Vishnu is black. At the time of death of all people, you are black in color. And for creation and the mode of passion, you are red. We cannot say that Vishnu is nourished or influenced by sattva gun, and therefore described as white. Unlike Brahma, who have connection with the other guns, has no contact whatsoever with sattva gun, the mode of goodness. Vishnu is close to sattva, but does not touch it. Srimad Bhagavatam 1088.5. This verse confirms this. Harirhi nirguna shakshat purusha prakrite para. Lord Hari, however, has no connection with the material modes. He is the supreme personality of Godhead, the all-eternal witness, who is transcendental to material nature. I'm going to stand up. One second. Oh no. Never mind, I'm not going to stand. My cords are too tangled. Actually, never mind, I can stand up. Okay. Also, the Vishnu Puran says, Satvadayo na santishe yatra na prakrita guna. Shuddha sarva shuddebhya puman adhya prasiddhatu. Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, is beyond the three qualities of goodness, passion, and ignorance. No material qualities exist in him. Haribol, everybody, you're still there. Great. So, my computer just ran out of battery. So I can continue reading, though, on my Kindle, I think. Although, let me see if I've downloaded this. Maybe I haven't downloaded it. No, I have. Could somebody tell me what verse we read up to? Just so I can find it. Oh, wait, I think I got it. Yeah, guys. I think that's our reading for today. Sorry about that. I'm going to end the video now. Yeah. See you all tomorrow. Actually, I'll just, we can end with Jayadevani. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. जय श्री श्री गुरु गौरांग गिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जो की जय, श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरण मोहन जो की जय, नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टतर अष्टतर शिष्मार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय, नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टतर अष्टतर शिष्मार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय, नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टतर अष्टतर शिष्मार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टतर अष्टतर शिष्मार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय, नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टतर अष्टतर शिष्मार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय, नित्य प्रविष्ट महाभागवत श्री गोक्षर बाबाजी महाराज की जय, नित्य प्रविष्ट श्री सच्चिद आनंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय, नित्य प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जय, श्री रूपनो गौरिया गुरुवार्ग की जय, श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ, श्री जीव गोपाल पददास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय, श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रमानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय, नाम श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय, सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदाता गिरिराज महाराज की जय, श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय, श्री मुन देवी गंगा देवी, श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय, श्री भक्ति देवी की जय, श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जय, श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय, श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। धन्यवाद। वृंदाय तुलसीदेवाय प्रियाय केशव कृष्ण भक्ति पददेवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। धन्यवाद। प्रणाम everybody। जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्री विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय, Sārārtha-darśinī commentary की जय। हरि बोल। Vasudeva ki jai, Krishna Chandra ki jai, Haribo. See you tomorrow.